What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Sonya Deville being in more danger, superstars are irate at Vince, Rey Mysterio's nasty injury, Wade Barrett returns to WWE issues a statement on the offensive video by virtual fans, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now our first story looks at Sonya Deville being in more danger. It appears that Daria Bernato, aka WWE superstar Sonya Deville, is receiving additional threats, a situation that prompted her to request that her court records be sealed in order to protect herself. Bernato has been in court to prosecute Philip Thomas II, who allegedly attempted to kidnap Deville and who had reportedly been stalking her for years. In an exclusive report by Heel by Nature, on August 24th, a motion was filed to have evidence sealed, including photographs which establishes her street address and characteristics of her residence, as well as messages that identify her family members. The court documents obtained by Heel by Nature revealed Deville and her ex-girlfriend Ariana Johnson both qualify as victim or witness at risk of harm. Johnson has already been threatened by Thomas for her association with Deville. The court had granted that motion as Deville has been receiving additional threats from unknown individuals. The threatening messages include, "I'll finish the job that Philip started, and my knife is sharper than Philip's." This dangerous situation has heightened fears and awareness amongst wrestlers, prompting some to heighten their personal security, i.e. some wrestlers are strapping up. Next up, Rey Mysterio's nasty gash on Raw. Retribution's attack on Rey and Dominic Mysterio during this week's edition of Raw resulted in Rey getting busted open. While it's unclear when Rey suffered the injury, Mysterio posted pictures on Twitter of a stained mask as well as a nasty gash on the top of his head. It's been a bad year for the Master of the 619 as he almost lost an eye due to a brutal attack by Seth, and now Retribution seems to be targeting him to make a statement. What's next? Is someone gonna throw Rey off the roof of WWE HQ? Oh wait. Next up, WWE comments on the offensive video by virtual fans. WWE's virtual fans have added some fun to the WWE Thunderdome, but a video displayed on this week's Raw was no laughing matter as someone put up a video of what might have been a Klan rally. The WWE wasted no time blasting the person who posted the video and issued this statement to the New York Post. This abhorrent behavior does not reflect WWE's values, and we have zero tolerance for these unacceptable acts. We are working to ban those involved from future events, and as per our policies, any inappropriate actions result in removal from the live stream. But is this enough? What's to stop them from getting a different IP address or different information details and then doing this all again? Unfortunately, if WWE want to prevent this from happening, they may have to start charging fans, as trolls probably don't like to lose money. Next up, wrestlers are upset at Vince's absence. Superstars are reportedly furious with Vince McMahon's absence on this week's Raw. Ringside News reported, multiple members of the roster were very unhappy during Raw this week. This was due to how the show was changed and the absence of Vince McMahon throughout the entire day. It was told to us that the lack of leadership and the confusion regarding finishes was a big issue backstage. It was additionally told by us by a member of the creative team close to the situation that so many of their segments had no time to develop, including music and entrances. It was described as a hurry to the finish. Now, in case you didn't know, 24th August was Vince McMahon's 75th birthday. Oh, happy belated birthday, Vince. So it's understandable that the WWE chairman could spend at least one day of the year away for his birthday. While the post-SummerSlam edition of Raw was uneven, it wasn't any different than most of the WWE's episodes of Raw. Next up, Keith Lee discussed the criticism of his new theme music. Now, Keith Lee's debut on Raw has been long awaited by his fans, but his new entrance music and new ring attire, which some fans liken to a miniskirt, a statement likely made from behind the safety of their keyboard, turned some fans off. Lee read the fans' complaints and commented on Twitter and tweeted back, "Music is out of my hands, period. Leave it be. I'll sort it out later." Lee seemed patient with the fans' concerns and added, "Of course, I don't have to. I don't owe anyone an explanation. It is simply my way of showing respect to the people who have supported me. I don't want people caught up on small things when what should be acknowledged is my debut. I mixed it up with Orton. Way bigger deal." It's certainly safe to say Keith Lee is getting a huge push out of the gate, and while his music and ring gear may not be what his NXT fans like, his push is the most important thing. Next up, Wade Barrett returns to WWE. A Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin is reporting that Wade Barrett is returning to the WWE, but unfortunately, we've got some bad news. It's only for one night, and it's an announcer on NXT. According to Satin, former WWE star Wade Barrett will be joining the NXT announce team this week. Sources tell us that this is just a one-shot deal for now, and that the former leader of Nexus, who won the first original season of NXT, has not signed a full-time deal to rejoin the company. The former leader of the Nexus and king of the WWE left the company in 2016 and is kept busy with an acting career as well as appearances in wrestling promotions outside the WWE. Whether or not Barrett's return to the WWE becomes something more permanent remains to be seen. Next up, an update on Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has been killing it as a Raw announcer, but fans of the Samoan submission machine are wondering if he'll ever return to in-ring action. During a recent episode of The Observer Radio, Meltzer shared his thoughts on the situation. Probably not, but for now, he does such a great job with announcing, and he's had a lot of concussions. But for now, he's doing this. I know that when he first did the announcing, and of course things changed, I was told that it was temporary because he's too valuable as a talent to have him as an announcer. But obviously, mine's changed from when I was told that to when they decided to revamp it, and he is great as an announcer. In theory, he's supposed to wrestle again, but who knows? Would you guys like to see Joe back in the ring, or do you prefer him to continue as an announcer? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, why AEW had Brodie Lee destroy Cody on AEW Dynamite. Now, Cody Rhodes had a bad night during the 22nd August episode of Dynamite, as not only did he lose the TNT Championship to Mr. Brodie Lee, but suffered a world-class ass beating. Cody did the stretcher job, and Brodie Lee continued one of wrestling's greatest traditions, tipping the stretcher over as Rhodes was being carried away. Now it appears the American Nightmare is going to be written off to AEW television for some time, but for what purpose? According to PW Insider, Cody will be taking time off in order to properly sell the beating and possibly so he can spend time on his friend Stephen Amell's wrestling series Heels. AEW has announced it will update fans on Cody's status on the 27th August Dynamite, and we will update viewers on Rhodes' possible next acting gig. And speaking of Mr. Brodie Lee, might the Dark Order be gaining a new member? As our next story looks at whether Erick Rowan has gone to AEW. Now that the Dark Order's exalted one Mr. Brodie Lee has won the TNT Championship, could fans see him bring in some help to cement his power? Fans have been wondering whether former WWE superstar Erick Rowan, now working as Eric Redbeard, might show up in All Elite Wrestling. Speaking with Chris Van Vliet, Redbeard talked about the possibility of working with his fellow bludgeon brother. It's wrestling, you never say never. Me and him have always been joined at the hip. I know he had very high singles aspirations. He wants to be the world champion and all that. To me, I just want to wrestle and have fun doing it and be creative, whether it's a character backstage and doing that. I have fun doing that stuff. I have fun in the ring. I had fun doing the tag stuff. I don't care either way, I love performing. I'm sure we're going to come around and do something in the future together, but for right now, let him do his own thing. Let me do my own thing, and let's meet back in a year, whatever. It's good that Redbeard wants to give his friend time in the spotlight, but knowing wrestling, these statements could also be a smokescreen to whether Redbeard is jumping to AEW. Whatever the case, he should have no problem finding work in the wrestling industry given his size, look, and talent. And finally, why Alexa Bliss was removed from SummerSlam. Last but not least, some of the members of the WWE Universe were surprised that Sister Abigail, Alexa Bliss, didn't show up for the Braun Strowman vs. Fiend match at SummerSlam, especially in light of what a big part she played in the build-up to their match. Apparently Bliss was supposed to be there, but as often happens in WWE, things change. Ringside News provided some background on the situation, reporting, Alexa Bliss was supposed to be a part of the main event match at SummerSlam. This was rumoured and we have confirmed it to be true. Bliss put out some unhappy tweets on the morning following SummerSlam. She wondered why WWE didn't use her. It turns out they were supposed to use her, but then she was told that the big dog was showing up instead. With Roman Reigns back on SmackDown and already poised to battle The Fiend and Braun Strowman, Bliss may be out of the storyline until Reigns finishes his quest for The Fiend's Universal Championship. Then again, we might see Bliss show up at Payback and play a role in the match's finish. Unfortunately with the WWE, they often don't know what they're doing until the last second, and by they, we're referring to of course Vince McMahon. But there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.